Dino Depot is a cross-platform mod that adds not only a new version of cryopods, but takes it to another level with some amazing features. Let's dive in and see if we can figure out what it's all about. There are only a few pieces in this mod, and they're available straight away at level 1. The engrams very generously cost 0 points, and the crafting costs are also exceptionally friendly, with everything only needing a single metal ingot and or a piece of crystal. The dino balls look great and even have some visual elements that make it easy to see what's inside without having to throw them out. There is a massive amount of information available for each captured dino compared to vanilla cryos, which is so very much appreciated. The empty dino balls can also stack, which is great for inventory management, and a big plus is that they don't have a charge or expiry timer, so you'll never have to worry about losing your potted dinos due to putting them in a storage box and forgetting to put them in a terminal to recharge. Another nice touch is that mating cooldown won't pause when dinos are captured. That's a great win for breeders with small bases that can't have a massive dino sitting out everywhere. Babies will grow up and automatically imprint inside the balls, whether in the terminal or not, and potted dinos will also recover stats the same as if they were sitting out in the yard. Speaking of nice touches, items will automatically transfer from the captured dino's inventory to your own, as long as you can carry it, of course. There's also a radial menu to swap equipped dino balls without having to go into your inventory. By default, they can also be used in caves, boss arenas, and the tech cave, which is a massive win for those of us who are over trying to herd an army of dinos down the walkway. The two guns, or digitizers, are identical except for appearances, and whilst you can use the dino balls without them, they certainly make it a little easier to aim. You can also use the gun to pick up player and dino caches, which isn't a game changer, but it's certainly a nice option to have. Speaking of aiming, it appears that you can use guns while riding dinos that you normally wouldn't be able to use a weapon with. I only tested it with the Rex, but let me know in the comments if you found any that you still can't use a ranged weapon with. The terminal is more than just a place to store your dino balls, especially when powered. Eggs can be automatically collected from the ground if you have a potted oviraptor inside, and fertilised eggs will even incubate in the terminal. Newborn critters can be auto-captured as long as there are dino balls in the terminal and automatically starts the raising and imprinting process. The terminal will passively produce eggs if you have at least one male and female of any egg-laying dinos, which is great for kibble farming, especially if you have set up base in a smaller area and simply don't have the room for a heap of dinos out. There's also passive resource production for certain dinos when stored in the terminal, including a never-ending supply of poop, which can be toggled on or off. And custom resource production can be set up by admin or in single player, and the editing process can now be done in-game via the dedicated menu. Also, by putting dung beetles in the terminal, you'll have the option to distribute the fertilizer that they produce to any crop plots in range. A fantastic feature is that terminals can be used as actual terminals for upload and downloads, but not for boss fights. Another handy benefit of the terminals when powered is that they insulate the immediate area, which is great for bases in hot and cold areas. There is even an option to kill all dinos in the terminal, which is a super efficient way to dispose of any unwanted critters without missing out on the XP from doing it the old-fashioned way. There are 4 display-based options with 5 changeable sizes for the dinos on display. The biggest is called Syntac, in some sort of tribute to that blue-haired Ark larrikin of the same name. Not sure why though, and I can't personally see myself using it around base, but it definitely looks cool. Being able to see the name of the dino is handy for organisation, and you can even hide the base if you prefer a clean look. And the petting option never gets old either, I mean, come on. The storage box is simply a dedicated box for your dino balls that looks really cool. It's got 3 visual options and is stackable, although there are some issues with that at the time of doing this review. On the mod options, there are so many settings for just about everything you could ever think of that it can be a little bit overwhelming at first. But the good news is that the settings are available in-game for both players and even more so for admin and in single player. That makes for great versatility in setting up the mod for individual players' own enjoyment or for admin to control certain aspects to align with how they have their servers set up. Admin are also able to recover lost dinos through a handy in-game interface, which will make a lot of players and the admin very, very happy. In fact, there are so many settings and options that I'd highly encourage players to set aside some time to have a play around and find the ones that best suit their playstyle. And I'm not kidding, pack a cut lunch because there are a mountain of options to work through. Okay, pros. There has been a lot of talk about this mod recently, and I can certainly understand why. It's not just another cryo mod, but rather adds a new way to manage and store your dinos, as well as helping with breeding with some passive resource production thrown in as a bonus. The mountain of options available to players and admin alike make it super flexible in setting it up to suit different playstyles. And the fact that these can be changed on the fly in-game is massive, and the mod author should take a bow for making that happen. The mod author is also tireless in addressing issues and concerns in their Discord, with regular updates to try and stay on top of any that do pop up. Not needing cryo fridges or power to be able to deploy the dino balls regardless of PvE or PvP setting is something many players will really appreciate as well. And with the loss of taxidermy stands from the game, the display bases would be a player favourite for sure. I know they are for me. Okay, cons. Very few actually. With the addition of the new in-game interface for mods to customise the passive resource generation, there have been a few teething issues, but they seem to be aware of them and they're addressing them as we speak. Along with that, the updates to accommodate the release and the constant updates of Aberration has created a few minor issues for some players, but again, all have been acknowledged and the mod author is working tirelessly to address them. And there's always going to be minor bugs that don't usually affect the game too much, but none that I've found to be really a deal breaker. There are plenty of cryo mods out there with many players having their go-to favourite. In this case, a lot of the features seem to have been designed with automation and not needing to keep a heap of dinos out taking up room in mind, which is great for smaller bases and those that like to keep a tidy yard. You don't even have to use all the features to get a benefit from the mod. The basic cryo features alone put it up alongside any of the other cryo mods available. Even so, the added features and the extensive configuration options really do make this one something that I think even the most die-hard supporter of other cryo mods should take a look at and compare. After trying it out, I'd be surprised if many find it hard to go past this one for their cryo mod of choice. I'm going to give Dino Depot 5 stars, and make sure you check out these other reviews of some mods that can perhaps add even more fun and value to your game.